We need to change that law. Well, when he said that, I came out of my law office and I made speeches all around Illinois. And I told people to wake up, don't let Douglas get away with this. If we say that we stand against slavery, right now we're limited as to what we can do. Our government tells us slavery is legal. South of the Mason-Dixon line, south of the Ohio River as it flows out of Pittsburgh to meet the Mississippi, and south of that new Missouri Compromise line. Now, sir, we're intelligent. We're law-abiding citizens. So we must say to the government, we're not here to break any law, but we are here to see that you never expand slavery one more mile. We understand, we know it's legal where it is. It's our job to restrict it there. And if we can keep it contained, we're always going to have the hope that somewhere in our future, the majority of our citizens will come to their senses. And they'll say slavery is built on poor morality, terrible economics, and they'll choose to get rid of it. But if we fall asleep right now and let Senator Douglas get slaves into the Northwest Territories, we could wake up in 2 years and read the headlines in the Chicago Tribune. United States now a slave nation. Well, when I talk like that, I got a following in the North, I got acre in the South. But there comes into the conversation the word leadership. Leadership. I wanted to stand firm as a leader against any expansion of slavery, and yet I wanted to keep the situation calm enough that cool minds and heads could go to work and try to solve the problem. So when I said in Peoria in 1854 how I stood against slavery expansion, I said, I have no prejudice against Southern people. They are just what we would be in their situation. If slavery did not now exist amongst us, we would not introduce it, or they would not introduce it. And if it did now exist amongst us, I should have said that this way. If slavery did not now exist amongst them, they would not introduce it. If it did now exist amongst us, we would not instantly give it up. When Southern people tell us they are no more responsible for the origin of slavery than we, I acknowledge the fact. When it is said that the institution exists and it will be difficult to get rid of it in any satisfactory way, I can appreciate the same. I certainly will not blame them for not doing what I should not know how to do myself. If all earthly power were given me, I would not know what to do about the institution of slavery. And yet I have always said, I believe, as Jefferson said, all men should be free. Now, if the Negro is a man, then my ancient faith teaches me that all men are created equal, and there can be no moral right in connection with one man's making a slave of another. That didn't calm the waters very much. A new party was born that year. They were called the Republicans. They took my party, the Whigs, the Abolitionists, the Free Soilers, the American Party, anybody who hated slavery, into their membership. I became a leader in that party. Douglas didn't get to the White House in 56, so in 58 he was still a senator, and they put me up to run against him out in Illinois, and that's where we held the Lincoln-Douglas debates. He won. But 2 years later, I would be the nominee for the Republican Party to run against that same Douglas, the same Douglas that beat me. And the Democratic Party divided. Slave states in the South said they'd never put my name on the ballot. They hated me so much over that issue. But the Democrats divided North and South. John Bell came in as an independent. So we had Lincoln, Douglas, Breckinridge, Bell. And when the campaign started, I had no beard. A little girl wrote to me. Her name was Grace Medale. She said she lived south of Buffalo. She said, I'm 11 years old, Mr. Lincoln. Last evening, my daddy came home from the county fair with a poster, and we rolled the poster in there with the pictures of you four men running for president. You, sir, are not the most handsome one of that group. She said she thought I'd do better with whiskers, so I took her up on it. I thought the facial hair might hide the ears a little bit. I carried the populated states in the North. I was able to win. But then South Carolina seceded, and we would have a terrible civil war, and it would last 4 years. And this area where Washington and Jefferson had proclaimed that there should be an arsenal, this would be a strategic spot. And I would visit here in 1862. I came here on the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, and I visited with General McClellan, the winner at the Battle of Sharpsburg or Antietam. That victory at Sharpsburg gave me a political platform to stand upon and issue the Emancipation Proclamation. The war was going to go on for 30 more months, but I've always said the first step for freedom for the black man and woman in this country really started September 17, 1862, with the victory at Antietam, which let me then issue the Emancipation Proclamation. I guess, folks, that shows you the government can move, but it moves very slowly. And I want you to think about that, because government will always be moving slowly. That's just the way it focuses. Now, I'm going to move slowly to this chair because, like Jefferson, I still like to read, and I would indulge myself in a book if you would allow me. Thank you.